It's been 3 months exactly. Last feature was Eddington. You probably can't see it too well, but that's the next feature I wanted to discuss really quick. Maybe I can even zoom in for you. All right, can you people at home see it? Good. Let me move the camera. At some point this year, my girlfriend and I went to go see Twinless, which was the sophomore film by not Sydney Sweeney, James Sweeney. Let me try that again. Actually, I have notes. I'm trying to figure out what day this was on. September 5th, apparently? I thought it was way later, but I don't remember. So these are my notes. Twinless, 2025, director James Sweeney. Two grieving men bond in support group and form an unlikely friendship. The pros, Dylan O'Brien needs an Oscar ASAP. He played a dual role, just awesome, playing as both Roman and Rocky, the twins. James Sweeney did amazing as well as the other cast. I haven't heard of this man, but I can't wait to see what comes next. I forgot what his first feature film was. I want to say it was maybe a comedy. The music, the shots were all amazing. An interesting and not boring plot and film. A shame most people won't watch it, which could be true. We had to go to a independent theater, which I hate the parking. The popcorn and the butter is fantastic, even though it really hurts my stomach. A couple cons. During a party scene, there was a split screen, and it's a bit distracting. I understand what it meant, but it's not an awful decision. The movie ended. I wanted more of these characters, mainly Dennis and the mother character of the twins. The mother, I forgot her name, but I thought she was fantastic. So I know I reviewed a movie called Caddo Lake last year with Dylan O'Brien. My girlfriend and I watched all of the Maze Runner films, and while I didn't think those were fantastic, Dylan O'Brien was committed, as well as, I guess, the other people. Well, this movie I thought was great. There were a couple scenes I really, really liked, especially from the character Rocky. This movie's not going to get any Oscars. I can just kind of figure that. I haven't really heard of a comedy getting an Oscar. I could be wrong. I haven't really delved into that bit of cinephile knowledge, but the movie was fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I would strongly recommend you watch it. It's probably on streaming. Hopefully it gets a physical release at some point. So there's that. This is going to be kind of like a movie speed knockout type of thing. The next movie that I saw, and this is in random order, I don't remember when I saw these. I did see Nobody 2, which was directed this time by Timo Tjahjanto. I'm butchering his name, I just know it. This came out last year, I believe. No, oh god, this came out 2 months ago. August 16th is when I saw it, okay. Suburban dad Hutch Mansell, a former lethal assassin, is pulled back into his violent past after thwarting a home invasion, setting off a chain of events that unravels secrets about his wife's Becca's past and his own. The pros, I love this director. The Night Comes for Us being a highlight from him. He also had a great segment in VHS 94. If you haven't seen that, I'd recommend you watch that. The cast comes back, which is nice. I like consistency, even though I don't think they were given much to do. The returning minor characters. It's around the same runtime as the original at an hour and a half, and that's it for the pros. Cons. Even though I love this, Timo, this movie felt like a Hollywood... Oh, wait. Oh, I did a typo. Okay. Even though I love this director, this movie felt like a Hollywood cash grab sequel. The action, camera shakes felt bad and clumsy. Kind of like the newest movie that had Tom Hardy starring, and it was Gareth Evans, sorry. Havoc. I didn't finish that. I think I've talked about that on the channel, but I didn't like it. The action was bad. There were too many villains. Colin Hanks and Sharon Stone. Colin had way more screen time and wasn't too important. And what happens with his character wasn't... It just felt off. I don't know. I didn't care for it. For being rated R, I expected more gore and violence with this franchise, typical Hollywood wanting to censor even R ratings now. Which I guess is true. I would have preferred the plot to go differently, maybe focus on Hutch's family and wife especially than what we got, a safe sequel that is sadly forgotten. Oh, well. You know what? I'm not going to change the background. You people know what it is. This movie was weird. So I haven't seen the first movie in a while. I believe it came out 4 years ago. And a friend told me to purchase it in 4K, or just purchase the movie. I forgot which friend that was, and whoever friend it was, I don't really buy 4K movies, so, don't do that. The movie was not very good, in my opinion, like I just, recently said. Bob Odenkirk is fine. I haven't seen him in anything that's really impressed me. I haven't seen Breaking Bad. I know that he plays a lawyer in Better Call Saul. He was even in the Ben Stiller show on a dandruff shampoo commercial, which is funny. But yeah, this movie just didn't do it for me. I wanted more, especially from this director. My guess is there was studio interference, or maybe the director didn't know what to do with these characters. So that's basically that's my review for Nobody 2. Probably going to be a third movie. She Rides Shotgun I saw August 1st, directed by Nick Rowland. A girl marked for death must fight and steal to stay alive, learning from the most frightening man she knows, her father. An adaptation of Jordan Harper's award-winning novel. Pros: Anna Sophia Hager, I think that's her name, as Polly gives the best performance. It's rare to have a great child actor not ruin a film. She was outstanding. Taron Egerton was great too. This is the first movie I've seen that he pulls off an American accent, I think. I wasn't disappointed. For the first half of the movie, I enjoyed the score. Going into the cons, I couldn't really enjoy the action because of how it was shot. Close-ups were too claustrophobic, while I give praise to both leads, there was a detective named Parks who was underused and not too interesting. I don't remember who actually played him. I prefer the first half than the second. Too much was crammed into 2 hours for it to breathe. This was a thriller. I saw it alone, and I haven't seen Taron Egerton in anything recently, I think. The last theatrical film was Rocket Man way back in 2019. I thought Anna Hager was great. I mean, going up with Taron and not being overshadowed by him, it was great. I really liked the first half of it. And then it reminded me of a movie called God is a Bullet. Not in all of the ways, but in some of the ways, especially with the latter half of the movie. Now, I loved God is a Bullet. I bought the movie. It's somewhere. I don't want to show off my movie collection because it's a little messy right now, and also in containers. But I don't know. This movie was interesting. Like I said, the first half I liked a lot more than the second half. But I don't know. I don't really know much else to really tell. I liked the father-daughter dynamic. I thought that was great. If you haven't seen it, I recommend. It's probably on streaming. I don't think it's getting a physical release at this point. Physical releases, I guess, are dying because what else did I see? Fantastic Four I watched. When did this come out? Oh, this came out in July. Okay. I didn't care to see this movie. This was directed by Matt Shakman. Tells a story of the Fantastic Four as they attempt to save the new edition, Franklin Richards from Galactus. Pros: Ralph Ineson was fine. Mole Man was also fine. That actor that portrayed him was, I think his name is Paul Michael Hauser. I don't remember. Those were the pros of the movie. Now the cons. Pacing was rushed. Effects were video games and just immersion breaking. Joseph Quinn especially was annoying, not in a charming way. Pedro Pascal didn't do anything of value. Vanessa Kirby was pregnant and had a baby in a far worse movie. Pieces of a Woman was far superior. I think I typed that the wrong way and I got really confused with myself. Pieces of a Woman is a way better movie with her in it. And Shia LaBeouf. Ben Grimm was just ugly and not very funny. No, bad words for the actor portraying him. I've only seen him in The Bear, the first 2 seasons. I'm behind. I guess what he was given was fine, but Julia Garner as the new iteration of the Silver Surfer was eh. Yeah, I don't know much about the Silver Surfer, so I can't really talk about it. Literally just look up end credit scenes and poof, you'll save a good 2 hours. When I tell you, these end credit scenes did not get me very hype at all. Unless they do something in Avengers Doomsday that I know they're probably going to do because I've seen a lot of leaks, rumored cast things, not to mention that apparently that live stream where they just revealed a bunch of names on chairs. And yeah, Marvel movies need to really step their marketing up. I don't know what's going on. So I saw that. I saw The Bad Guys 2, July 31st, directed by Pierre Perifel. I'm really bad at pronunciations. I'm also tired. My mouth is also dry. Continues the tale of the bad guys as they attempt to do good and keep their snouts clean. Unfortunately, they get dragged back into the game after they're approached by some dastardly criminal. Pros: the performances. Everyone did great. Danielle Brooks was fine. She played, I think, the main out of the 3 villains. I forgot what their names were. Some of the shots looked great. A couple scenes with just Wolf were my favorite. Notably when he's outside in a deserty area talking on the payphone, and then another scene where he's, I think, back at that desert area at night walking to a trailer. I don't know why those shots just stuck with me. The cast was consistent and no big name changes. Cons: the main villains were boring and cliche. I wanted more. A ton of jokes weren't funny to me. Typical humor undercutting a serious moment. I don't care that it's a kid's movie. A plot point happens towards the end of Act 2. I wanted something different instead of what happened. Oh, I also walked out of The Naked Gun. My girlfriend, she had a good time for the 30 minutes we were there. Sorry. I don't know. Akiva Schaffer is a great director, I think. I loved Hot Rod. Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping is fine, although a lot of the humor didn't really work for me. I forgot what else he's made. Freakier Friday I saw, did not like, walked out of it. Girlfriend loved it, I think. Bad Shabbos, director Daniel Robbins. This was a pleasant surprise, some of it. I saw this back August 8th. I went to that same independent theater that I went to. An engaged interfaith couple are about to have their parents meet for the first time over a Shabbat dinner when an accidental death gets in the way. There's a lot more cons than pros, but man, let me tell you. The pros. Method Man plays a character named Jordan. He's hilarious. Two other characters, Adam, Theo Taplitz, and Richard David Paymer were my favorite. There's a scene in which Jordan's character walks into the room, or I guess into the family dinner, and the grandfather character, he says, "Oh, what it do?" I don't know, that... No one laughed except me. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, Method Man was the best part of the movie to me. The cons. The editing for this wasn't very good. One character talks, cuts to another character, etc. Boring and just lacking. Without giving anything away, the first 20 minutes of this movie weren't funny. Literally until the death scene happens is when I got invested. At an hour 20 something, it felt too short. Shiva Baby I felt was fantastic, and this reminded me of it, but in meh ways. There were some people for this movie when I went to go see it. I think it's New York. I don't remember where it actually takes place. Yeah, Method Man was the best part about it. He made me laugh every time he was on screen. Even when he wasn't trying to be funny, he just... I don't know, I guess maybe his personality off screen is just great. I haven't listened to any of his music, I don't think, but that's aside the point. That was that. Oh, well, I didn't see this in theaters, but I did see this August 13th. I showed my girlfriend 8 Mile, directed by Curtis Hanson. Follows a young rapper in the Detroit area struggling with every aspect of his life. He wants to make it big, but his friends and foes make this odyssey of rap harder than it may seem. There's a few more cons than pros in this, but I'll get to it. Pros. The second to last rap battle against Lotto, rest in peace, Nishan Breedlove, he died a few years ago, I believe. Either from a seizure or from an overdose. In my opinion, the back and forth was awesome and far better than antagonist Papa Doc, played by Anthony Mackie. I can't take him seriously, I'm sorry. Eminem has proven himself to be a great actor on the side. The film shows it. Not everything he's given works, but overall it ain't bad. Cheddar Bob is the main comedic relief. He was my favorite of the crew that rolls with B-Rabbit. Cons. Some of the characters introduced, Alex, the love interest, isn't very great. They don't have the best chemistry. There was a sex scene I forgot about that probably should have been cut. The audio mixing is awful. I had to put subs on for a majority because trying to understand what was being said was impossible. Michael Shannon was underused, even as Greg, meh. Anthony Mackie is the least intimidating actor in this, me no like him. And yes, I did type that. There's a lot of musicians that have turned over to acting. There's Common, there's, I guess Logic. I haven't listened to a lot of his music, but he has a movie that I am waiting to see. I don't know when it actually gets released, if it gets released this year or next year. It's called Paradise Records. There's, of course, Ice Cube, who I don't really think he's a great actor. His son is, though, I think, even though he's just playing his father and things like that. Andre Benjamin, he's a great actor. Four Brothers is a okay movie. I don't remember it very well. Semi-Pro's a meh comedy, but he's great in it, I think. I know I did talk about Hurry Up Tomorrow and how disappointed I was with that, especially with Abel's performance. Eminem is given some cringeworthy dialogue. The way he delivers it, his voice kind of goes high, kind of like this, I think. I don't remember very well. There was a movie I do want to talk about in the future called Bodied, which is kind of in the same vein. It's a white boy does battle rap. It's done in a weird, bad, cheesy way, especially with the music that's used. I don't know. I don't remember much about... Oh, Charlemagne's in that. Oh, God. If you don't know who Charlemagne is, he's the god. I don't care for him. 8 Mile's fine. I could do without some things, like I said, but overall, it's a fine movie. But let me tell you, the bit with Lotto, I love that. And then Eminem's just retaliation is just, oh, it's great. I love it. Let's see. Oh, I saw Highest to Lowest on August 15th. Uh, why I walked out of Highest to Lowest. So I haven't seen High and Low. I do intend on watching it, but I don't know when yet. My battery dropped. What? The music is too over the top and cheesy where it shouldn't. Editing is boring and choppy with conversation scenes. We spend an hour with most of the main cast, and I can't tell you a thing that makes them unique. Ice Spice cameos briefly, and thankfully doesn't rap. Honestly, I wanted to see A$AP Rocky in this. The hour I suffered through, you see the back of his head and hear a conversation he has with Denzel. The best part of the movie are the trailers, honestly. Now, I unfortunately did find a, let's say, pirated version of this movie, and I skimmed through it. There's one scene I guess was fine. It was towards the end of the movie. A$AP Rocky and Denzel Washington are conversing back and forth. This is, I believe, A$AP Rocky's first collaboration with an A24 project. His next movie, which I do want to see, is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which has Rose Byrne. I don't know if that's getting released near me, because where I live in New York, there's 4 theaters that are relatively close by, so we don't get much of the good stuff. That's more so like in the city, I think. The trailers I loved a lot more than the movie itself. I guess there's some tracks that A$AP did that were fine, but in the movie they were just repetitive. The score for the movie was just piano, and it didn't really fit the situation of what was happening. Hang on, my mouth is really dry. I'm sorry. No, my mouth is still dry. You know what? It's okay. Yeah, this movie was disappointing. I'd say I don't even know if I have a favorite Spike Lee movie. There is Da 5 Bloods, which I haven't seen. It came out, I believe, in 2020. It was a Netflix only release, which sucks. But apparently Jonathan Majors is in it, which I didn't realize, so I may have to get on that train soon, because Jonathan Majors, I know I talked about this before, but man, oh man, if you haven't seen Magazine Dreams, he was fantastic in the movie. I know I'm kind of just derailing from Highest to Lowest, but why talk about a bad movie when you can talk about a fantastic movie? I would not recommend watching Highest to Lowest. I saw Honey Don't August 21st, directed by Ethan Coen, a dark comedy about small-town private investigator Honey O'Donoghue, who delves into a series of strange deaths tied to a mysterious church. Pros. Most of the cast did great, minus a child actor. Since leaving the MCU, Chris Evans has attempted to branch out and show his acting chops again. This was way more entertaining than Drive Away Dolls, the story, characters, and the settings. Cons. I wish the movie was a bit longer. It ended abruptly, I thought. Wanted more character interactions, especially between Evans and Plaza. Oh well. I'd recommend seeing this. How long it'll be in cinemas, not sure. It's not in theaters anymore. The movie was fine. I remember Chris Evans plays a sex-crazed church pastor. He kills people. I don't know. That's pretty much it. I haven't seen a lot of the Coen brothers movies. I've seen No Country for Old Men. My dad, when I was a kid, had no Burn After Reading, but I don't remember much about it except a death scene that happens. It was nice to see Aubrey Plaza on screen, although I don't know when this was filmed. I know that she tragically lost her husband at the start of this year. I do hope she's doing better. Didn't sound very good. Her husband was actually a director. I don't think I have any of his films, but yeah. Anyway, that'll be for a different time. I guess there was one suspenseful scene in the movie involving a man and his grandmother. I don't remember very well. I think I'd recommend it. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about it. That's basically it. On August 22nd, yeah, I go to the movies a lot. Leave me alone. For its 20-year anniversary, the 40-year-old version was re-released. It was not the unrated director's cut, which sucks. That is the only funny scene that Kevin Hart has in his whole filmography, I think. Maybe that in Scary Movie 4 or 3. Goaded by his buddies, a nerdy guy who's never done the deed only finds the pressure mounting when he meets a single mother. Pros. Jay, played by Romany Malco, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, is my favorite side character of Andy's friends. Most of his scenes are highlights. Andy has an impressive collection of figures, movie-related things. I noticed Super Saiyan 4 Goku in a box. Mortal Kombat Armageddon is played. The scene isn't very fun, but the video game is. Kevin Hart has a fun role as a pissed-off customer, though this isn't the uncut version. The cast is fine. I can do without many big names. There's a few cameos. All right, going into the cons. Catherine Keener isn't my favorite actress. Aside from Get Out, she doesn't impress me. Andy's collection is unfortunately something he makes the choice to give up, which today there's tons of women that actually like nerd culture. Story isn't very remarkable and my least favorite part. So Andy's whole journey of trying to lose his virginity just isn't very interesting. I thought it was fine when he had a bunch of collectible toys and figures and video games, and that was who he was. But no, he's forced to give it up. Spoilers, I know, but it just makes me mad. Yeah, I don't know. This movie had a lot of issues. It's not my favorite comedy. I guess it was a fine time at the movies. I went to a different theater this time. This theater was a little out of my way. It was about half an hour away. Let me tell you, when I got my free nacho chips, the cool employee there, they didn't have like the traditional nacho trays. They had like a full cup, like a water cup like this. He put the cheese in it, and then he got another cup and put the chili in it. My girlfriend hates the chili, but she's a hater. And I know she's watching this. You're a hater. The bits, obviously, with Jay were my favorite. He was the most, maybe not relatable character, but I don't know. I always got a laugh when he was on screen. Paul Rudd doesn't really impress me as an actor. I haven't seen anything with him in it that's really like, man, I have to see this. Seth Rogen just played Seth Rogen and didn't do anything for me. I have seen The Studio, but that series kind of fell off like halfway for me, I think. So yeah, that was The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I saw Caught Stealing by Darren Aronofsky. This had Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Vincent D'Onofrio, Regina King, Matt Smith, I think that's his name. Burned out ex-baseball player Hank Thompson unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of 1990s New York City, forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. Pros. Cast all around did amazing. Standouts aside Austin Butler are Regina King and Matt Smith. At times a little weird hearing Huey, Regina King voiced him in Riley and in the Boondocks, but it was nice to have her on screen. Stakes. This movie has them not afraid to off characters when needed. A fun, tense thriller. Some of the comedy involving a cat didn't work. Overall, I'd recommend. Now, these are the cons. Not against the movie, but my audio was fucking loud. Those that know me, I hate loud noises. Dialogue scenes mainly were a bit much. Yeah, so whenever a character spoke, it was loud. My eardrums were popping. I blame that on either the studio or maybe just the theater. Maybe they cranked up the volume a little too loud. But the movie I thought was fun. I'd watch it again. Austin Butler I thought was he's really proven himself as a great actor. I know he was in Dune 2 last year. I know he was Elvis a couple years back. 3 years maybe. He was in a forgotten movie called The Bike Riders from last year, I believe. Movie was fun. I'd watch it again, like I said. I'd recommend you watch it. I haven't talked about this movie, but I did see it September 2nd. The Dark Knight, I'll just go through my pros and cons since I'm guessing a lot of you that are hopefully subscribed know what The Dark Knight is about. The action is cut way better than Batman Begins, though Batman is very slow compared to other iterations. Animation is king, in my opinion. The performances, especially that one, are great. Some characters I wish had more interactions, mainly Bruce and Harvey. In the Telltale Batman video game that was released, and unfortunately got canceled after I think 2 seasons, Harvey and Bruce had a lot more, I think they had a lot more chemistry, and there's more you can do in a video game than in a movie, I think. I don't know, I just wanted more interactions. The movie looks good. Some shots do stick out. Batman after an explosion is my favorite, followed by a helicopter flashing lights on him in the 3rd act. The music is fine, my favorite being the final dramatic scene with Gordon and his family. Cons. Some of the music is cheesy and too on the nose, I think. Dialogue as well. Remove Two-Face from the movie. His villainy is too rushed and not developed. Katie Holmes should have come back as Rachel. Oh well. There was an annoying soundbite dealing with Gordon's wife as she cries for her son. Distracting, and I don't like it. It doesn't ruin the scene, but I could do without it. Some changes have to happen. Batman isn't really a detective in this. The Batman changes that even though he's less experienced. I forget I type these things badly. I do like The Dark Knight. It is a fun Batman movie. I'd say it's up there with really great ones. I do like some of the animated movies a lot more. Under the Red Hood. Mask of the Phantasm, I did see a while back. I don't remember if I liked it too well. Obviously, Kevin Conroy is and will always be Batman, at least animation. Mark Hamill, obviously, is a fantastic Joker, animation-wise. I'm not going to get into the whole Heath Ledger greatest Joker debate. He gives a great performance. That's all I care about. I don't really like debating these things because I can't back up my arguments because I'm very limited on certain topics. So that's it. Most recently, this was October 2nd, I saw The Smashing Machine, which was Benny Safdie's solo project. His brother Josh is doing Marty Supreme, which comes out, I think, around Christmas time. Dwayne The Rock Johnson will portray former MMA/UFC champion Mark Kerr, aka The Smashing Machine, in a story based on the true events surrounding Kerr's life and rise through the MMA world, which was unfortunately derailed by his opioid addiction. I really didn't do a lot of notes for this. This movie is a mixed bag for me. Of course, The Rock isn't, to me, the greatest person or actor. If you go back and see some of the Red One articles when that movie was released last year, yeah, I wouldn't want to work with him. He being late on set, peeing in bottles doesn't sound very good. With Benny and Josh Safdie going separate ways since their last film, Uncut Gems, I was saddened. I love Uncut Gems. I love Good Time. I haven't seen Heaven Knows What. I should watch it. That's all I have to say. I'm not a sports person. Aside the big names with this movie, I can't say I was too interested in this. After it ended, I really wanted more. A documentary literally with the same name was also released sometime this year. I've heard it's better. Haven't seen it. The one thing I did like was the opening to a wrestling match set in 1997. The audio and look really worked for me. Also a scene at a fair I related to. Mark didn't want to go on big rides because it hurts his stomach. And also not having fun watching loud cars collide with each other. I wrote cards. Yeah. Hashtag literally me. I'm hoping Josh Safdie can pull magic with Marty Supreme in December. So, I think my big issue with this movie is that it just wasn't very interesting. What these characters were told to do, obviously, it was a biopic, but it wasn't in the traditional sense, especially like a cliche music biopic like Bohemian Rhapsody or Elvis. I guess the makeup was fine. I remember when the first still image came out, and I thought, oh, wow. A Benny Safdie movie and Dwayne The Rock combined in this economy? What's going on? But the movie was disappointing, and I hate saying that. Benny Safdie has become a bit of an actor as well as a director. The first film that I saw him in was Good Time. He had a supporting role as Robert Pattinson's brother with some sort of special needs. He played a Jedi in Kenobi. I don't really want to think about that TV show. He was in Licorice Pizza. He played a political figure. And most recently, I believe, he was in Oppenheimer. I forgot his character's name, but he was in it. I saw it 4 times. That's how I remember. I don't know. If you're a fan of wrestling, I'd say watch it. But if you want like uncut gem levels of this anxiety and people talking over one another, I'd say skip it. My mouth is really dry. I'm sorry. Hang on. Really quick. Regal recently did a Fathom event where they showed Spider-Man 2.1, not 2, but 2.1. I may have talked about this some time ago. I don't remember. Spider-Man 2.1 essentially is it's like 7 or 8 minutes longer. It has bonus scenes. There's one scene that just does not work, and it's involving MJ and another woman that works or does the plays with her. Don't know her name. Can't really be bothered, unfortunately. For how extended it is, I think it's fine. It doesn't really change the movie at all, but it's fun. Some scenes can be trimmed down, but overall, I love Spider-Man 2. I hate Mary Jane Watson. I hate that character in the trilogy of movies that we're forced to watch. She's boring. So Spider-Man 3 was also re-released. The score by Christopher Young is awesome. I don't know why Danny Elfman didn't return composing, but this is fine. The themes, for the most part, are very heartfelt and speak more to me now than as a kid, especially forgiving yourself and not holding on to hate and revenge. The conclusion between Harry and Peter is messy. Ton of studio intervention, which sucks. The Birth of Sandman was excellent, if only he didn't vanish for about 30 or 40 minutes. He leaves the film for quite a long time. My favorite scene involving Aunt May and Peter for the last time makes me cry. It's not as great as Spider-Man 2, where they had a little interaction, but it's fine. So, funny enough, there's an editor's cut of Spider-Man 3, which I do prefer, except it doesn't involve the Aunt May and Peter scene, which I hate. But it does change some things around. It doesn't change the actual movie itself, but it's, I think, 2 minutes shorter. A fun team-up is finally shown. It's fun when Spider-Man isn't alone in his battles for once. Now here are the cons. Too many characters and villains. Remove Venom, Eddie Brock, and the Black Suit plot. Please get rid of MJ. She is the worst thing to me about this trilogy. Ursula should have been the love interest. Aside one scene showing Spider-Man's agility, this movie doesn't offer much. I may have been a little too harsh on that. That's just how I felt. Captain Stacy is an established character but gets nothing. I believe he's in 2 scenes in the whole movie. Maybe it should have focused on him. Aunt May barely has any scenes. My main issue with the first film as well. She really shines in Spider-Man 2. Really, the movie should have underwent tons of script changes. Flint Marko seems to be interesting in other iterations. Lastly, because of the most negative reactions to this, Spider-Man 4 was canceled days upon filming, I think. So, Spider-Man 3 has a lot of problems. I do prefer Spider-Man 3 over Spider-Man. I was in 4th grade when that movie came out. The video game, I think I prefer a little bit more. I grew up playing the PS2 version because I couldn't afford a PS3. I now have a PS3, I just don't play it. I also well, it's not broken, but all my DVD Blu-ray players and my PlayStations are not working because I did something to them. That's aside the point. Anyway, there's just things wrong with it, but overall I do like it. The music is great. Some of the shots are great. If a movie can make me cry, it holds a special place in my heart. Unfortunately, those scenes are far and few between. Most recently, I saw 100 Meters last week on October 12th. This was directed by Kenji Iwasawa. I believe that's his name. This was in Japanese. I was the only person in the auditorium, which was great. Gifted runner Togashi dominates 100-meter races until transfer student Komiya, I'm really bad at pronunciations, arrives, motivating him to train harder. Years later, they compete as rivals on the racetrack. I don't really have a lot of notes for this. Given the track record for my dislike for most sports movies, I wanted to give this a try. It was simply amazing to me. Animation, story, performances, and music, and tone stood out to me. Mainly a character that is met later in this movie, Kato was one of my favorites. Since The Smashing Machine was a dud, I'm very happy this was a great replacement and we'll be getting the Blu-ray in due time. Yeah, the movie had English subs. Here's the thing, and this is going to get into another review that I'm going to talk about soon. I like foreign movies, but when it comes to watching anime in a different language, I can't do it. It takes away from watching the art that someone has created. But the animation was fantastic, especially when they show off how certain characters run, mainly the two main characters, if you want to say that. There is one con that I have, and it's during the main character toward like the latter second half of the movie is out in the rain on the track field, and the rain comes down and it fades to white. It happens for like a good 20-30 seconds, and it really hurt my eyes. So that's the only con that I really give this movie. It was fantastic. So, that being said, let's talk about why I walked out of Infinity Castle. This was August 14th, a few days ago. Too many damn flashbacks. The action scenes were extremely difficult to make out. Character monologue after monologue is just annoying. I actually have a headache after about 2-ish hours. This movie needs to shave off the runtime and quit these fucking flashbacks. I'm not even a fan of this anime and I'm pissed off. With the English dub, I only know of 2 voice actors, Alejandro Saab, Kagi Films on YouTube, and Channing Tatum. Unsure who he voiced, I don't care now. The only bits of the movie I liked were a few of the music choices and the lower demon-slaying people that fought. I could see what was happening. So, a couple friends of mine back in North Carolina really wanted me to see this movie. They're big anime fans, and they love Demon Slayer. My friend showed me the first 2 episodes, maybe episode and a half. He showed me the pilot episode, and the main thing I didn't like, and it wasn't the anime's fault, we had to stream it from my computer to the TV in the living room at the one place I was living before, and the frame rate was bad. So that's not on you, Will. That's on the streaming thing. But yeah, my main issue with doing action scenes is I have to see what's happening, and I know a lot of Dragon Ball Z is an anime that I do like. I don't love it because there's a lot of writing issues that I have, especially with how characters are treated. Even the action scenes, some of them aren't very good. That's not saying all of them are. My favorite action scene from Dragon Ball Z, hands down, is the first Goku and Vegeta fight. I love it. It's great. So back to the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. So as far as I know, these characters are able to perform different types of like breathing or some sort of techniques with their swords. It looks cool. The animation did look nice. I do like it. Compared to something like Dragon Ball Super, which came out 9 years ago and ended in, I believe, 2018, animation doesn't hold a candle to the Demon Slayer movie. I really have to give it that. The animation did look nice. It's just the action scenes for me. It was hard to follow what was happening. That's probably my biggest gripe. Well, no, the flashbacks I really didn't like either. I felt it kind of took away from the pacing. I mean, especially if you have a TV show that's, I believe, 66 episodes long. It just didn't do it for me. I'm sorry to anime people out there, but I didn't care for it. So I saw 2 movies yesterday. Well, I saw a movie and a half yesterday. One of those being After the Hunt, which was Luca Guadagnino's newest movie. A college professor finds herself at a personal and professional crossroads when a star pupil levels an accusation against one of her colleagues and a dark secret from her own past threatens to come to light. I don't have a lot of notes for this. I adored Challengers last year. One of the best. This movie was boring, save a couple of great scenes and some odd music choices at times that made this feel like a Hallmark movie. The one casting choice I was, of course, on board for was Andrew Garfield. I'm gonna butcher this girl's name, I'm sorry. Ayo Edebiri, to me, isn't the best actress of this new generation. I guess she's fine in The Bear. She plays a character named Sydney. Bottoms was fun, but I was there for Rachel Sennett and Nicholas Galitzine. I'm stuttering. He played Jeff in the movie. I think his name was Jeff. Aside all that, the movie wasn't very interesting. I think the thing with me is that it was a really political movie, I think. Julia Roberts was in it. She was fine. Andrew Garfield, I think, had the best scene of the 2 scenes that I liked. There was a scene in which Andrew Garfield played a character named Hank, a professor, not like Beast Hank, but, or Hank McCoy, that's his name. There's a scene in which he's eating hot wings, and they're eating at a restaurant, and they're just talking about these accusations that happen. Maggie is the woman who accuses Hank of sexual assault. I don't remember if these characters interact outside of what happens because we're just told these things. We're never shown these things. This movie really didn't do it for me. I loved Challengers. I bought the Blu-ray. After the Hunt, I could do without. Good Fortune, I'm not going to talk about. It was bad. I'm trying to think of what else I actually saw. This video is almost an hour long. I tried to watch Relay. I walked out of it. I didn't find it very interesting. I do like Riz Ahmed, but I guess the last thing I could talk about was Elio, or Elio. I think it's Elio. I saw this way back July 19th. I remember specifically because I was in a bad mood. I was walking up the stairs with my girlfriend. I had popcorn and soda in hand. I tripped on the stairs. I scraped my arm. It hurt. The popcorn bin got a little smashed and destroyed. I was in such a bad mood. I swear I've changed. I was in such a bad mood that when we got to our seats, I just threw my drink on the ground and just destroyed the cup. I'm sorry to that poor worker. I'm really sorry. I had to change. And also the projector was broken. Anyway, Elio, a space fanatic with an active imagination, finds himself on a cosmic misadventure where he must form new bonds with alien life forms, navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions, and somehow discover who he is truly meant to be. Pros. When this takes place on Earth, it's emotional to an extent. It feels like a traditional sci-fi movie. Zoe Saldana voices Olga, Elio's aunt. I liked her, even though she wasn't in the movie for long. There was a nerdy type character, much like Mars Needs Moms. Sorry. I enjoyed his little screen time. I forgot what his name was. Cons. When this movie isn't on Earth, it's garbage. Tons of exposition is given in short time. I couldn't care less for these aliens at all. I would say skip it. Yeah, it's not. I didn't really care for this movie. I don't know. A lot of these new animated movies that just focus on the comedy bits. I've talked about this before. I don't want to delve into it, but it just doesn't work. I don't know. So, funny thing about the 24th of October. So, Mortal Kombat 2 was supposed to release next week, but no, because of all the competition coming out, Warner Brothers decided to just postpone it until, I believe, May next year. So thanks. I really appreciate it. Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is Scott Cooper's newest film, gets released, technically on the 23rd. Richard Linklater's newest movie, Blue Moon, comes out, which I think I want to see. Is that it? Oh god, I guess that's it. I felt like there was more. Oh, next month, I'm going to hopefully do a double feature. Edgar Wright's The Running Man remake gets released, as well as Predator Badlands by Dan T. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm a little more anxious and worried for Predator than I am for The Running Man. The Running Man looks fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much what I've seen. Let me know in the comments what you've seen. And it feels good to partially be back. I know I need to trim this beard. It's gotten out of control. I need to trim my hair a little bit. All right, bye.